happy to see you again in our webinar today. And we hope you will learn something from today's webinar. And this is kind of experience exchanging webinar, and we would be very, very glad if you become more active in our discussions as well, because we also need to know a lot of things from you. And I'm Yakut Sharipova, a senior teacher at Uzbekistan State World Languages University, and my partner Farangis Bakhtiyarovna.
I'm also a senior teacher at National University of Uzbekistan.
Okay, so and we are really glad to have our today's wonderful webinar on the topic of case studies and critical thinking. So let's start. Today we will look through the case study and how to design effective case study or methods of designing case study. The next critical thinking. What is critical thinking? We will look through and we will look through the activities that can help to develop critical thinking with the help of a case study. Now, let's start our today's webinar with the following case. And this is a question for everybody, and we will be very glad to listen your answers. So let's look. Once Alex's family decided to go out and do some shopping, but Alex refused and stayed alone. When the family had gone, burglars broke into and stole everything, but Alex didn't say anything. And in addition, they didn't harm Alex. What do you think? Why Alex reacted so? Can you present your options with Alex's reaction? What do you think? Why he reacted in the following way? Why didn't he tell anything? And why burglars didn't touch him, didn't harm him?
Maybe the first reason was that this guy was very little. Maybe they didn't pay attention because he cannot do something against the burglar.
Mm-hmm. So
Maybe.
perhaps yes, why not? But the answer is no again. So how about others? Would you like to present your options as well?
Okay, if we look it in logically, sometimes we can have some another reason that the burglars can be his relatives. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
logical. In
Why
logical.
not?
Yeah.
But this is not an answer as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Ms. Raihana, thank you for your active participation during our discussion. Let's move because we are going to leave the answer to the end of our today's webinar. Let's continue. So, Ms. Maranges,
Here comes the question: what is a case study itself? Who has any notion about case studies, or who ever worked with such kind of situations? Do you, dear teachers, know about case study?
Uh, Maybe a case study is mm, finding some solutions for the difficult or for the problem. Case study means, I think that it's my own opinion that case study relevant to the problem solution maybe. I don't know.
What problems can we face during the solution for the
Okay, it
cases?
depends on the teacher. If the teacher gives some topic to the students and they will together solve the problems, or they will, how can I say, share their opinions, maybe this is case study, just like in a brainstorming.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, you are
Yeah.
right. Okay, Ms. Maranges.
So here comes question: agree or disagree, and why? Once Berkeley, Cross, and Majors told that bridge the gap between theory and practice, and between the academy and the workplace. So, what do you think of this theory? What do you think of this very sentence that you are watching on the screen? What is your opinion about this? Do you agree with them or disagree? And if you agree, why? If you disagree, and why?
Okay, may I?
Yes.
Yeah,
And what I can say about it, there is a learning and acquisition. There is a much difference between them. Learning, it means that you learn some grammar rules, some structure of the sentences, but you cannot apply it in real world. And acquisition, it means that you practice those knowledge in your real life when you do something. For example, I work at the primary classes. I am an English teacher and primary teacher, and we had such exercises in math. For example, I give them an exercise about um, mm, how to know the dроби. I don't know what's the translation to dроби. Dроби.
division.
Yes, and I understand it in the real life situation from the pizza, how we divide pizza into pieces. And they
Mm-hmm.
understood these from the real life situation. This is a theory and practice, and we should make our students to get the knowledge and to apply them in real life, not just the structures, not just the grammar rules that they couldn't apply, but we should make so.
Good. Wonderful opinions, Miss Camila. Okay, so that is like an actually option, the ideas of kind of description of a case study by Barclay, and he presented that this is like the case studies as a bridge between the theory and the practice. Why? Because we're usually tired of learning theory, and sometimes we wanted to do something in practice. And case study is one of the effective methods of presenting our theory in practice as well. And according to students' view, because research is organized like a review on students based on the case study, and they also kind of found out the following effective results or kind of achievements which are presented by students. So they think, students think that that's a great my emphasis on practical work required. And it's like the way of moving away from teacher, letting instructions to student-centered learning and the hub of analytical and critical thinking rather than the subject, just subject specific analysis. And motivation is improved when reasoning is explained, developed, and understood. So as you guessed that like in case study, reasoning plays like an important role. And if I'm not mistaken, in our previous webinars, our brilliant teachers also provided some sessions about case studies as well. And they all have also explained what is case study. But one of the brilliant results of case study, or one of the brilliant methods of providing successful case study, is helping students' ability of reasoning. Reasoning why it happened, what is next, why should it should be corrected, and so on. And by reasoning all WH questions, they need to find a solution to the case as well. And also students like a presented case study as the light at the end of the tunnel. What do you think? Why did they think so? And why did they have they presented the following notion?
Maybe if the teacher gives some task that and require from students, uh, why, when, where, why did, maybe these questions lead to this slide, maybe because you said that case studies main motivation is to create students reasoning ability, that in every step they will have some motivation and they will have some opinion about why and when, because when we also give some topic for our students, the first question will be why and what reason. Maybe these questions lead to the slide, I think.
Yes, you are totally right. And if you remember the quote, the kind of description of a case study by our brilliant scientists or researchers, they have also said that it is a bridge between theory and practice as well. So theory is a kind of tunnel. So we may learn endlessly, and we cannot find the solution or the end of the theories because different kind of researchers, scientists, or leaders of the area present their ideas in a different way, and they will discuss and discuss and discuss. And as a kind of simple teacher who want to integrate or who want to do something in practice, it can be a little bit time consuming for us to learn all these theories. So, and students also felt the same, and they just found all these theories are given in the shape of case, and they also kind of set a WH questions in order to find the solution for the case. So that means they just gave WH reasons for finding a solution for the given case. And at the end, students work collaboratively, and they have found that the case study as a kind of light at the end of endless, like a series, which is like they just compared in the to the tunnel. I'm so sorry. And what do you know about the nature of case studies?
This is a new material for me then. I'm so interested. I would be appreciate if somebody says about the nature of case studies.
Mm-hmm. Others,
Mm-hmm.
please also be active. It's the only time that we kind of devote to ourselves. I meant to investigating something for ourselves, not for students, not for government, just for ourselves. Let's just be active in our discussions, and in the following way, let's just exchange our experiences and fulfill our knowledge with wonderful, brilliant ideas which are given by our brilliant teachers of Uzbekistan.
So, can I call by the names of our
Yeah.
members? Uh, Nodra Kushakova, what do you think about the nature of case studies? Mm. Miss Yaira Rahimova, can you tell us about the nature of case studies if you know information about it?
Hello to everyone. Frankly speaking, I don't know about the nature of case studies because um, actually I have never used case studies during my teaching. Yeah, frankly speaking, it's really interesting for me to get this information from you now.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So then let's turn to the next.
Okay, let's discover it
Uh,
together. That is like our
yeah,
findings which
let's
we have
discover together.
found. Yes, Miss Farangis.
Mhm. Here you can see the nature of case studies. The case studies can be short, a few paragraphs, or long, no more than or more than 20 pages, with the solutions, with the observations, studies of, let's say, maybe experts or the students, and they can be used in lecture-based or discussion-based classes. uh, they can be real, with all the detail drawn from actual people and circumstances, or simply realistic. Mostly, if you observe the studies and lectures of Cambridge University, you might see there that most of law students or the students of the economics, they have solutions or they observe case studies during their classes. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm sorry for the noise. And here and then, they case studies can provide all the relevant data students need to discuss and resolve the central issue, or only some of it, requiring students to identify and possibly fill in via outside research or the missing information. And after knowing all information or after having uh, full information about case study, you might also become to some point as a you might become a spy, and because you might you will start thinking like a
Detective,
uh,
maybe. Yeah.
that is exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the case studies can require students to examine multiple aspects simultaneously of a problem or just a circumscribed piece. And lastly, case studies can require students to propose a solution for the case or simply to identify the parameters of the problem. In the last, they give a solution for the case or for the issue that they were or they have been observing during this required period. And you may have case studies not only in the field of, for example, law or economics. We can also have a case studies in the field of teaching as well. For example, we will have a problematic situation with our teacher, between the teacher and the students, and there you might have the problem, and your students or your partners should give a solution for them. In for that solution, teachers or that person or judge should examine or should observe to should let's say gather all data about the situation and the process, and after that that person can give a solution for that. In the next slide, we have here Miss Yokut,
Okay, so
the case study
as you see,
experiment
kind of
wording.
in the next slide, the process of creating case study and the process of implementing, the process of editing and also improving is given here. As it was mentioned, case study is an experimental learning. So cases will be given in the shape of text paragraph or a big kind of art, in the shape of article and so on. And the students' task is just to experience first the activity to perform it or do it. Then they need to share the results, yes, their reactions and etc. Then they will turn to the part or third stage, which is process, by discussing, looking at the experience and analyzing, and of course reflecting. And finally, they will generalize or to, connect the experience to real world examples. And of course, they will apply what was learned to a similar or different situation practice. So as you see, there are three notions, main notions, which is given in the triangular, doing, reflecting, and applying. But as it's like a lifelong process, so and the cases can kind of also change its process or kind of role in the life. So the problem, the case which can be problem for today cannot be problem for yesterday. So it can find its solution. And but anyway, basing on this solution or basing on this problem, the new problem can appear. So and in the following, they kind of the life goes like endless, and the circulation is also goes endless. So the cases with different like problems with different situations can be kind of implemented, experienced, shared, processed, generalized, and applied. Applied it is as it's given in the circulation of case study implementation.
Mm-hmm.
And in short, like effective case study planning can achieve in the following way. With effective planning and preparation, using case study as a teaching strategy is a valuable method for developing students' ability to think critically and analytically as well. Identify areas of requiring attention of resolution, both in the classroom and in real world scenarios. So that is a brilliant ideas of Good and Brophy um, about case study summary. So now let's turn to the next slide where we would like to clarify what is critical thinking. Can you present your ideas about, to this question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or why do we need critical thinking in our let's say teaching or learning process? How do you think that how can we connect this to the case study process? Who has any idea? Can we hear the information from Ulubek Abdurazakov? Mm, oh, you are not audible. I'm sorry. We cannot hear you. No. Can we ask that? Can you leave your answer to the chat box, please? And Nigora Rashidova, can you please join us? What do you think about critical thinking?
So, critical thinking, I think, is think while we are reading new information, get data about some field of study, we
Mm-hmm.
can make our thoughts. We can think about another factors of this field of study. We can make some decisions, or according to this, our reading articles or information, we can make our own decision thinking way, or I think like this should be my uh, how opinion about critical thinking and like this
Good.
Thank you.
making your own idea while taking after getting new data or reading by readings because of
Mhm.
while we are doing our case study, it was so difficult because of it was very new for me. While I am reading articles, then I understand why I am doing this case study. What was my aim for doing? I think critically. I compare it with foreign students' abilities and our students' abilities in making oral presentations or oral communication skills. I compare it.
Mhm.
And I write my case study according to Uzbek students' oral skills and extrinsic motivation of EFL learners in Uzbekistan. I write to my case study and I understand how is it useful for us for making research, critical thinking, I mean.
Mhm. So wonderful, Nigora Rashidova. You just presented wonderful analysis, like a comparative analysis, both like a case study and the role of critical thinking and improvement or development of critical thinking via case studies. Okay, so what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is the ability of presenting, evaluating, interpreting data, develop lines of argument, and making sounds of judgment. And it helps students to ask questions and look for answers as well. And it also kind of improves applying what they have learned to solve problems. And listening to each other and debating ideas that they have collected, and they also kind of increase it while they discussion, so while they finding solution to the case studies as well. And there is a brilliant structure of critical thinking is given, Ms. Farangis.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So as you see here, the structure, you can see the structure of critical thinking. First, please look at the model to generate critical thinking. You may see here the three main areas. The first is a description, analysis, and evaluation. They are the main issues and then the main terms for the topic, for the issue, and for the title. In a description part, you are going to have a question like who, where, and in analysis, why, how, and in the evaluation part, you will have a top level of critical thinking. Like you start to ask, what if like this, or so what, or what is next? You will have a question, and after that, you will start to think critical in a critical way. So do not think that critical thinking this is a negative, but this is the positive structure of brain enhancement.
Yeah.
Um,
So you are totally right. So with the help of one just topic discovery, with the help of this one case study discovery, the process of critical analysis from this, starting from description to evaluation is shown in the following model. Okay, so as it was mentioned by Misia Farangis, like our low order thinking questions like what, who, where, when, and how and why moves to high order of thinking questions like what if, what next, so what. So in a following way, students' ability of critically analyzing not just one case study, analyzing life situations by means of case study will be developed. And so that means we will prepare our students uh, to life by developing their high order thinking skills. And in the following slide, you will see the analysis and comparisons of case study with critical thinking, and at the same time, the provement of that critical thinking and case studies are lifelongly connected and tightly connected to each other. So, as you see, kind of case study motivates us like a student's self-development, problem solving, analyzing, comparing, differentiating, understanding their mental process, developing foresight, practicing active listening, asking questions, and evaluating existing evidence will be developed by means of case study. But at the same time, by kind of solving the cases or by finding solution to the cases, students' ability of understanding, analyzing, comparing, differentiating, synthesizing, reflecting, evaluating, and feedbacking and abilities will be developed. And as you see, they are kind of lifelongly, tightly connected process. So, Miss Parangues,
Mm-hmm. So here you can see the ready result of a lecturer where that lecturer could succeed in her classes, where the greatest sign of success for a lecturer is to be able to say that the students now working as if I did not exist. In 1870s to the 1952, Maria Montessori, an educator, found a solution for the case that the why not students cannot, for example, do the activities without teachers, and that she could analyze the process. She could give a such a way, and let's say she could give such a theory that could lead to the light, as we talked about, to the tunnel at the end. And then in the next slide, Miss Yakut, yeah, here we are going to give Miss Yakut. We cannot hear you. Here again, guys, we ask you to think about this case. As we in the beginning start give question. If you remember about the Alexis's family and Alex's situation, do you remember that once Alex's family decided to go out and do some shopping, but Alex refused and stayed alone? When the family has gone, burglars broke into and stole everything, but Alex didn't say anything. What do you think? Why Alex reacted so?
and why burglars didn't touch Alex. There were two options which we ignored by saying no. One option that perhaps they didn't touch Alex because he was a child, and the next option perhaps like burglars were relatives of Alex. But if they are relatives of Alex, of course they are relatives of the Alex's family. And what a sense of like breaking into their relatives' family. So
So after having information about case study and critical thinking, let's practice these two theories using this case. Let's guys think together. What do you think? Why Alex didn't tell anything to his family or to police? Why? Um, Mr. Ulubek, we cannot hear you. Maybe you use your headphones. Hmm?
All right, your answer to the chat room. How about
Yeah.
others? What do you think?
It's a logical question that we have to think for a long time. Maybe if you give some notions or if you give some multiple choices, we can use it or we can choose by our own options. So
Actually,
sometimes,
that is case study, and we would like yours kind of discussing the case and finding the answer of the case because it was mentioned it can be kind of given in a shape of question and answers exact answer is required, or it can be given in say a shape of situations where a solution should be discovered, and
And here Mr. Ulubek Abdurazakov is telling that in the chat box, maybe Alex is a pet like a dog or something.
uh,
mhm, yeah,
What do you
okay.
think?
What do you think? How about others? What's your option?
Yeah, it might be because Alex refused. It doesn't mean that he didn't want to go to shopping or to grocery. Maybe he just had a tantrum like a pets have sometime, yeah? And that is why he stayed home alone and he didn't react when burglars broke into the house. And he couldn't phone to police station. Oh, he couldn't say to the family members about the burglars broke.
Uh-huh. So, how about others? We need
maybe
your answers as well.
he's blind or
Oh,
Perhaps he was blind, but no,
Perhaps.
he was not blind.
oh,
Yeah.
blind and deaf.
Uh-huh. Even deaf. Okay, perhaps why not? How about others? I would like yours being active. We would like yours being active because that is really interesting case, interesting situation.
So,
Oh, he was blind, deaf, and mute.
Mhm. Good. So
yeah.
he was blind and deaf. Then perhaps why not? How about others? Nigora, can you present your answer? مكمل Kasimova we have. Can you present your answer?
Yeah, we have also the active member
I'm
Camila
just thinking about
Abdulrazak.
about that. What can I say?
Yeah.
Somehow I adopted about my answers, and I'm thinking to make one decision. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Say,
So will you present your decision?
So here again, here going the hot discussion in the chat box, Miss Yakut.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yes. Mr. Urubek is saying that maybe yeah, he is Alex is deaf maybe, and Kudratbek Mahmudov is saying Alex couldn't say anything but the might bark or meow. Yeah, and then Alex is Mr. Urubek is saying, replying to the message like Alex is a toy maybe.
uh, sorry,
Uh-huh.
disturbing you. Maybe Alex didn't say to the police or to his parents about that because of he's also part of this crime. But thing.
Mm-hmm. So just he pretended that he was not at home. Yes, you wanted to say yes. Is I understood right, you
Yep.
Nigora?
Yes.
Why not? Okay, so we would like to listen more options. So there is another option that Alex perhaps a toy, but How about like just family paid attention to Alex's like a wish? He decided he refused to staying at home. He refused like going out, so that he stayed at home. Thus, okay, make your decision. Guzalhan, would you like to add something? Oh, come on, I think we have
Uh,
enough.
do
Yes.
anybody have any option? It's I'm interested in in the answer of this question.
Yeah,
Actually, I would like just to add one more. I have got it from real. We have got it. I'm so sorry. We have got it from real magazine article, and there was a kind of idea that Alex was watching a TV, and he didn't pay attention even just to burglars when they broke into the room. So as it was mentioned in a newspaper article. So what do you think about it now? Just one more nuance is added for you. This is a case you need to make a study. Just in order to make a study, you need to give different questions, different options, and analyze it. That
so
is a study. So
I-
let's study the case.
yeah, in that case, Alex is a really family member, and he refused to go to shopping because there was his favorite TV show
Mhm.
podcast, and that is why he wanted to stay at home to watch it. And he was so attracted, or how to say, so attracted with that show that he even didn't want to pay attention on the burglars who broke into the house. And he was indifferent, because, for example, football match or some kind of show was much more interesting for him than watching his house.
Uh-huh. Yes, you are right because he was watching his favorite TV show named Mary or Not Mary, which it was mentioned in a newspaper article, which we have found this kind of case. But at the end, burglars also kind of stole the TV.
Uh,
Even at that moment, he didn't react to anything. He didn't react to them. Why?
um, uh,
Ha ha ha.
Well, it's become so much more complex.
why? Why?
While we want one, then we should find another option.
Even it was mentioned in a kind of newspaper article, he was sitting on the sofa and they just burglars going around talking. He didn't pay attention, but he was not deaf. He was not kind of blind. He was watching his TV
So
and
maybe
he is
he,
actually a member of the family.
yeah,
Yes.
he got asleep.
Now make sure that this is not Uzbekistan. Okay, I decided to give a hint for our audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
That Alex is a member of a person, and make think about one thing that it is not happening in Uzbekistan. It is happening out of the Uzbekistan, like a Europe. So this is
Uh-huh.
the almost I am
Hint.
giving the answer. Yeah.
Yes, I have seen this article somewhere, but I cannot remember the end, the conclusion.
The end was
The
also kind of
burglar.
shocking. It was like in guidance in the newspaper named the guidance. As you know, the guidance is like the weekly newspaper of European countries.
Yeah, the burglars told something to the kid. It was a kid. It was really a kid. Alex was a kid, and the burglars told something, and he believed them. Maybe he took their words seriously, but I cannot remember what was that. I'm sure I have seen this article somewhere. I have read it.
But yes, he was a kid actually, but he was not kid at the same time.
Ah.
So,
Maybe it is a dog or not.
Why dog?
okay. Why
Maybe
dog? Okay. Why do you think it's a dog?
So the
but remember, dogs' nature to bark to anybody, even if this person is known or
Maybe
unknown.
it should be cat.
When they kind of owners are out of the house.
What about cat? Because if Alex didn't how uh, how can I say? I forgot my words. Effect or effect to burglars. It can be maybe like animal, could be domestic pet. I think
Hmm. You
could
think
be.
it's a cat, yes? And cats, they
Yes,
don't say anything to anybody.
yes, and it didn't do anything for burglars while they are taking the TV or anything else at home. Everything from at home from home.
Hmm. So, Miss Faranges,
Yes.
do you have any suggestions?
No, but we can tell the answer for them. I think it's time to tell the truth.
Yeah, actually, Ulugh was right with his answer from the first attempt, but we
Yes.
wanted like
Yahoo!
to listen you critically because our topic is case studies and critical thinking as well. And thanks, Nigora, just she could prove her answer by just, but anyway, our hints helped you. Yes, it was taken from real kind of newspaper article which was named Strange Things Happening in Our Society. And the thing that you have read was true. And Alex was a pet, kid, cat, kitten, and the family accepted them as their child. So that's like they just introduced Alex as a family member by while giving alibi about the robbery to the police from their house. So with this kind of now let's discuss what we have done and what things are developed and what areas of science are kind of looked through with the help of this article and case as well. So you have presented different ideas. Like you, we first like idea came to you that it was a kid, and it is also our cultural kind of background or our cultural etiquette. So usually, even robbers they don't touch kids because kids are considered innocent part of our life. Yeah. So that's like the first idea came to you was a kid. And the next idea, relatives. So we know that relatives know anything, and perhaps like a kid kept the silence and even didn't pay attention that their house were burgling, were breaking into. That is true. And so that means the first idea, kind of your critical analysis showed that our cultural background or our cultural knowledge. Then turning to just we started to ignore you, that we started to say that that is not true, that is not true, that is not true. The next idea came to that he was blind, but blinds are good at listening, and of course if they notice something unusual, of course they will shout it. And even like as their listening ability is good, they while giving an alibi they may present everything in detail by minding their listening abilities. That is the next idea. Then the idea about like perhaps we said no, then the idea like a death came to you. But we said then we gave you the next hint that he was watching a TV, and then you said what? Then you said that perhaps he was watching his favorite TV show and he was so involved on his TV show, and thus he didn't pay attention. But we also said that the TV was also stolen. And in a following way, by giving your reasoning, analyzing. If you use this kind of cases in your with your students, you need just to make them to reason, to explain their reasons, to say why. And you may organize like a mini discussions, and you may listen each groups like a discussion, analyze and say your options. And in a following way, you may help them just to analyze everything and critically think about it. And finally, this is like a yes, pet cat. It was given by one of your presenters, from his first attempt, but he didn't prove. That's just we just stayed somewhere and we just tried to ignore and we just wanted yours like being involved in discussion and thinking critically and analyzing at the same time. As it was mentioned in a previous slide, like a case study and critical thinking is they are kind of lifelong connected because it is ongoing process where we need to work on. And perhaps this case study cannot be a case study after several years. And in our one of the several processes, we also presented that designing case study is also needs three stages, and three stages are the circulation of the three stages: doing, reflecting, applying, working again, then experiencing, sharing, processing, generalizing, and applying as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and after 3 years, like several years, I can say that our even our nations, like our national students, can just guess that content or guess the answer and can reason their answers by giving some factors and samples by real life and presenting samples from another target culture, English culture, and prove their answers. So that's like for our future kind of improvement of this case study or applying or experience this case study, we may need to think something new, some add some tools. And in the following way, we will kind of become more up to date and develop our students' critical thinking. And Ms. Faranges?
Yes, and here after the answer, after telling the answer, here Mr. Ulubeg also added some points about that case study. I have to read this one because he cannot add this. In Europe, they consider their pet as a family member. And then he's adding that we had self doubt after you keep saying no, think more. And we wanted to hear your, let's say, what do we say it? Your objections about the case and your, again, the points about your answer. So here, guys, we want to hear any questions from you.
Do you have questions for us?
Yes. We know that most of you are here
Yeah.
because of today's topic, because of today's very interesting hot topic, which we call it case study and critical thinking, and which is crucial for our brain and our work and the study and the life. And we really want to hear questions from you,
So
tons of questions.
that's it's also good presentation. I like this, and I'll learn more about case study. I didn't learn the theories or other things about case study. I make imaginations like this. I should learn, study, and learn and make my case study according to my critical thinking and comparing with Uzbek and other countries students differences between, and I do that. But uh, can I submit my case study if I do in the future another case study? Can I give it to the journals to publish? Can I
Yes.
do this?
Okay.
It's also
In the shape
I
of
think
activity, you mean?
no, as a research work.
For the conference, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. Why not? Mhm.
I have some truly I wanna make any some research work. I have chosen
Okay.
some topics to this, and I don't know if I write any research work. How can I make sure my research work is true or not? Because I cannot find any experts or teachers for checking
Okay.
my work. have some
Nigor,
difficulties
I
on
have
those.
understood your topic. Yes, research is really interesting task and interesting area and still under question and still needs some research a lot and still needs like a researching a lot. So in order just to present your research for international conferences, you need just to check your research under three criteria. First, you need to have a problem. So then you need to find a solution to the problem. In order just to find a solution to the problem, you need to do to learn the background knowledge that is which was done before you, and then you need to implement by making hypotheses like of implementation these problems or kind of this research into your classroom. You need to raise some research questions. After kind of raising these research questions, you need just to organize your classes where you will implement your case studies. For example, you would like to check whether your case studies are good to implement or not. And are you kind of right with the process of organizing case studies? Or are you right with, are your are your yes case studies match with the criteria of creating case studies as well? So that's just the background knowledge, which is literature review. By analyzing works of scientists and their kind of by finding kind of, solution to their kind of research questions, you will analyze and then you need just to come up with an idea. What are you going to implement? What are you going to check with your students? And what kind of science or what kind of research are you going to investigate? So after that, you're not just to put research questions, but anyway, you need to base on the researches which are done before you.
Mhm.
After kind of setting up research questions, like you will have some hypothesis whether this case study will work well or not. And for example, I'm using the case study with, which we have shown in our screen with my student for 3 years. But starting from this year, I have understood that our students' awareness about the culture, target culture, is started to be developed, and they already started to give a kind of the right suggestion that it is a pet cat, not a dog, because dogs bark, and thus like not a parrot. Parrots are also pets. Parrots, they don't sit in a on a sofa. So thus like by analyzing such kind of notions, they started to find a right answer. But at the very beginning, they couldn't find an answer. Even single one couldn't an answer. So you cannot imagine they have like a search at an answer for 1 week. Some of my students for 2 weeks, even for one semester, because I really wanted this like a developing critically, and by just giving different reasons to find like the right solution. And they need the criteria was like they needn't just to give an answer, they need just prove their answer by bringing some objections and from real factors from life. So that's just you need to think about these nuances. Then you need to implement it with two students, with experimental students, where you will implement case studies, and the case studies which are created by you and which are good for Uzbek context. Because now just you will create case studies basing on Uzbek context. And as a kind of representative of target culture in our culture, you may also kind of create like a comparative case studies with target culture, traditions, habits, and etc. So you will implement, you will see the process results, you will analyze, then it will be your research work. And then you may say that you may apply it for international conferences, even for kind of scientific journals of Uzbekistan as well.
Uh,
So
uh,
as for tutoring or kind of training, you are welcome to submit your articles to other great teachers from ESL community or founders of ESL
okay.
community, and we will be very glad to help even with kind of with your research works as well.
If it is not
Any,
hard, can you share their names, please? Because I wrote my case study. It's ready, but I'm not sure my case study is perfect. I have some solutions
okay,
according to the problem in Uzbekistan. I choose extrinsic motivation in Uzbekistan, in EFL learners in Uzbekistan, because of the no uh, uh, there in Uzbekistan instrumental motivation plays great role while they are learning English language. than their will.
Okay. Okay.
That's why I
So
choose.
if you go to our channel ESL, you will find a photo of our kind of poster of our founders,
Mm-hmm.
and you will find like our initials in our Telegram channel, and you may just present it, or if you present it and just ask them by helping with kind of urgent help to our authority, and we will try to be to find a solution, and we will be very glad to help. So their names
Thank
like
you.
Mia Kucharipova, Farangis Bakhtiorova, Miss Sauda Tajibala, Miss Khushnamo.
Mm-hmm.
We have then we have Miss Malika Kasimova. So there are lots of, and I cannot like our I cannot list all of them because our webinar will be ended with listing them. We don't have enough time just for listing all of them.
Yeah. Thank you very much because you can
Thank you too.
explain me,
Thank you
help
for
me.
your initiative, like for writing, for sharing your findings and so on. And do you have any questions?
No, it's understandable, absolutely, and I will continue my research work in that way, and I hope
In
I
addition,
can
like
publish my
in
work.
addition, if you go to United ESL Teachers, if I'm not mistaken, some of our teachers made webinars on making research. So you may find like this video and you may watch the ideas, and then you may have more brilliant or more clear picture of organizing your research. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
So how about others? Do you have any questions?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Well, what do you think? At what level of language students are ready to discuss the cases?
Okay. So from an early ages you may start, but it's up to the language that you will create and instructions of you that you will create. Even you may say like the early ages like is for kind of collecting vocabulary and preparing themselves for speaking by using the vocabulary they have collected. And so in the following way, just you may create some simple cases where they will kind of so logically find a solution or find the appropriate color for example, for uniform. So your teacher asked you to wear a uniform, and what do you think? What color is good? And in the following way, you will involve them for discussing. Or just you may create some cases basing on their favorite fairy tales. For example, Little Red Riding Hood. Yeah. So in case if Little Red Riding Hood didn't go to the forest, what happens? How the story can be ended? Or in case like a wolf decides not to eat a Little Red Riding Hood, what happens then? So they will kind of bring their logical solutions or kind of critical thinking results, solutions or kind of answers for your cases. Or in case like if the hunter was not near to the house of the granny. In case like for example, granny lived together with the family, what happens? Or what may happen? So you need, it's up to your creativity and instructions as well. Of course, language of instructions should be simple, clear, and understandable from an early ages. And like a time by time, you may just complicate your structures and instructions as well. And in the following way, you may complicate your case studies. And starting from simple logical thinking case studies, you may address to high order kind of case study which demands high order thinking skills. What if next? Why happened this one? What can you do in their situations? And so on.
Thank
Could
you.
you find an answer for your question?
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Okay, how about others? Any questions?
Miss Yakut, here on the chat box, people are discussing about the techniques to increase the brain power of the children, and then they are discussing about the method here about the odd one out technique. Miss Maftun, are you here with us? Can you please clarify about this method? And then their participants and their teachers, we shared the book here in the chat box where you can say it's useful for your children. And in that book by Jim Quick, you can use uh, that in order to improve your brain activity from 0 to 100. I really suggest you to read and to complete and to use it.
Hello, dear friends.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello.
Miss Maftuna.
Uh, yeah, it's me. Nice to see you all here. First of all,
Oh,
let me congratulate you with this webinar. It was so fruitful and informative for me as well. I learned a lot, but unfortunately, I could join you later. That's why I missed a lot. But still, in the chat box, someone asked about uh, some techniques to develop pupils' critical thinking. And here I suggested to use odd one out technique. Here we can list some words, and pupils are asked to find some strange words among them. And not only they choose, but they have to prove it why it is odd. For example, as an example, I gave here apple, peach, tomato, and banana. Most people say that it is tomato because it is vegetable, right? But here it's not right. They should choose another one. Maybe it's up. It's like shape. Maybe it is kind of color and something like this. They try to give some other reasons why they are choosing exact, for example, vegetable or fruit. But you may say no, 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 and at the end you may, for example, present your own answer. For example, here I can say that banana is odd because it doesn't have any seeds inside. But here we have some other answers as well. But by keeping no, saying no, just they try to think some other reasons, and not only one reason. We may have to choose one fruit, but they try to search for some other reasons. And by this game, we may try to develop our pupils' critical thinking as well. So this was my
Yeah.
suggestion, and thank you for
thank you.
listening.
Thank you,
Thank you. Yeah,
Mr.
that is a
Good.
great.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think, yeah, thank you very much, Miss Maftuna, and for everyone. I think, Miss Yokut, it's time to say goodbye.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We had a great, wonderful kind of discussion today, and we're happy that we could manage with something. We could manage like just at least like exchanging experiences as we did today. And you could learn something, you could take something, and you could at least you can take something from this webinar. And we hope to see you in our future webinars. And you are welcome with your suggestions of topics that you are going to listen in our webinars or that you are going to discuss in our webinars, in our ESL community Telegram channel. And thank you. See you in our future webinars. Goodbye.
Thank you too very
Thank you
much.
for you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you
Goodbye.
very much. Thank you. It
Thank you
was
for
very
joining
interesting.
us. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Miss Yokut, congratulations. See you on Telegram.
Thank you.